Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Shaun from Zarz Collectibles and Comics, just doing my normal Thursday night stream. Tonight I'll be doing part 2 to my part 1 last week of showing some signature photos and stuff I've gotten over the years from some celebrities and some other people. So we will start off tonight showing some wrestling signatures that I've got. First off, continuing from last week. So let's go. I haven't met a lot of big wrestlers, but the few that I have met have been really cool. Great. So first up, we have Matt and Jeff Hardy, which were pretty cool to meet. So I used to be a really big wrestling fan when I was younger, but it was more WCW than WWE or WWF back then. So I didn't really know. How you going, Dave? How are you, buddy? I didn't really know much about WWF back then, besides the obvious people. But I don't think anyone's watched wrestling and not know Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So he was an awesome gentleman to meet, just very polite, outgoing, and loved having a chat with people. And he was nice enough that he had his Hall of Fame ring with him when he was at the show. So he was showing it to people and letting people try it on, which was pretty cool to be able to hold a Hall of Fame ring in your hand, especially from the WWE. I met these two, so Big Cass and Enzo. So when I met these guys, they were sort of just breaking in to the WWE, and I think probably like a year later they got split up, and then both of them disappeared. Excuse me, out of the blue. And uh, last person I have something I can show off is Diamond Dallas Page. So one of my favorite wrestlers in WCW when he was there. And I would say after WCW really much ended, I didn't really pay much attention to wrestling for a while afterwards, until maybe 10 years later when Stone Cold and The Rock and all that were really coming up. Another awesome person to meet. I was lucky enough to meet two other wrestlers, but I didn't get any photos or anything signed. I ended up getting Pops signed. So I met Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. Uh, Back then, like I said, I wasn't extremely on knowing who he was, but he was a really awesome gentleman to meet. So next we're going to get into the TV section. So this section is pretty much anyone who's been in a TV show, and most of the signatures I have is from them in TV show. So we have Raven from the 100. So it's a really cool show that I got into a few years ago, and as I said on last week's stream, when the show was really good, we used to get a lot of actors and stuff from those shows, and then they sort of died off. So actress who played Echo in the 100 series as well. A lot of these actors aren't big known names in the 100 series. So, gentlemen, so anyone who's seen the 100 knows that there's a big chunk of key actors, and then there's a whole bunch of extra actors in the background. Harmon, I'm pretty sure his name is Harmon. Well, his surname is at least. Let's get some more info so I know what I'm talking about. The 100. So the last one, I was right, is Richard Harmon, who was one of the main actors for at least the first 4 or 5 seasons. Then you have Nyla, who came into it in the later series, who was Jessica Harmon. Okay, next up, we have an Australian. Let's see. Bad with remembering names. And so she was on Neighbours, which I don't think a lot of Americans will know. But yeah, Neighbours is one of the big Australian shows, which a few actors in this series were a part of, surprisingly. So next up, we have Eliza Taylor, who is another Australian who was on Neighbours. So another Australian show actress. So sorry, this set was my 100 set. Last off, we have Bob Morley, another Australian actor from Home and Away. And I have been trying to complete cast photo. So I've been lucky enough now to, from this photo, to meet 1, 2, 3, 4 of the main cast in this photo. Hello, madam. Hope you're doing well. Okay, now we get into the TV section. So first up, we have Tia Carrera from a lot of shows from my childhood and some movies. So it was cool to meet her. It's amazing when you go to these shows and you meet some of the people who bring to life some of the things that were a key part in your childhood, whether it's from movies, TV shows, or anything like that. So I need to know this guy's name just so I don't murder it. Terminator. So I'm very bad at spell. So we have Gabe from Scorpion. He also played the bad Terminator in Terminator 2. So Robert Patrick. I've been lucky enough to meet him twice, and he is one of those people that if you ever have the opportunity to meet, I really recommend taking it up. He's just a great guy and loves to talk and just very appreciative of his fans, which I always find cool, especially when they show the effort for when you go to meet them and you line up. She was a doctor on House, and she played one of the actors in the Disney show. Now it's leaving me for the life of me. So Jennifer Morrison. So Ella and so I was lucky enough to meet what's his name? Slade, not his play Slade in Hearts of Dixie, and he's also Bullseye in the new Daredevil, well, the old Daredevil series. Let's see. So, Wilson Bethel. I know I murdered these people's names. We have an Aussie in Bernard Curry. And this is one of the Doctor Who girls, I think, if I remember right. Okay. Got two of Bernard Curry. Billie Piper. I know her more as the singer from my childhood than an actual actress, but she has been in a few things along the way. So, next up, William Shatner. As most people will know, I'm not a Trekkie or a Star Wars guy. So obviously my thing for William Shatner is the lawyer show with uh, Spade. Oh, what's his name? It was Boston Legal with James Spader and William Shatner. And next up we have Barbara Eden from I Dream of Jeannie. So I'm pretty sure everyone grew up watching that series or knowing of Barbara Eden. Even for a lady at the age she was when I met her, she was very, very cool person to meet and just full of stories, and just she was the centerpiece in a show that had a lot of guests back then. So we have Stuart from Big Bang. So they're starting to do Stuart Destroys the Universe, I think they're calling it. The new series, which is a spin-off from Big Bang, which is with Kevin Sussman and a few others. So it's cool meeting him. This gentleman from Walker, also a person who's been in a lot of TV shows and a lot of old school movies. So, and he's Mitch Pellegrini. He's been lucky enough to been part of a lot of very big TV shows. So it's cool meeting him. We have the Tick. Now his name I really cannot remember for the life of me. I didn't really want a signature from the Tick, but in the photos he had, this was the best photo. So ended up getting the Tick. But we have I cannot and Lucifer. Now I know this could possibly go in my DC section, but for now it's in my TV section. So Patrick Warburton. Now I was lucky enough to sit down through his chat and his interview, and he told a really interesting story about when he first started acting and telling his family that he was getting into acting and how they all thought it was a little bit weird and stuff. So it was a very interesting story. You hear a lot of actors telling stories about how they get into acting and it's not really something they were thinking of or really wanting to do, and then they get into it and they become really big and famous from it. So we have another Aussie, David Wennon. So this is obviously from Van Helsing, but he's been in a few other things as well. So, let's see. Okay. We got the Hunger Games. Now, I really should remember her name, but I forget. Obviously, from Game of Thrones and Hunger Games and all the other stuff. Natalie Dormer. Another gentleman. Can't remember. Some of these signatures I get in the heat of the moment, and then I forget. We got Lou Diamond Phillips, obviously from Richie Valens movie, long time ago. Ron Perlman is Hellboy. Lady Jane. So, another actress I haven't met a few times, but the one time I did meet her, I got a few signatures because obviously she's been part of a whole bunch of series and shows that I really like. Adrian Palicki. So it won't be the last time you see her tonight. Then you got Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger himself. He was a really nice gentleman and just really cool. And when we were looking at his photos, when I bring up this photo, he goes, "No one ever chooses this photo." He goes, "Everyone wants it when he's fully Freddy, but no one wants to see him when he's coming out of it or getting put into it," I would say, which was pretty cool. Amelia, her probably a name of someone that I'm forgetting. This guy, let's find out his name before I show the future. He was a big actor, and then Carrie Elves, obviously from the Princess Diaries, I think it is, or is it the piss take of Robin Hood, Men of Thieves, and then you got Days of Thunder, Saw, and a few other shows, a few other movies, I should say. Everyone knows Dr. Emmett Brown, Christopher Lloyd. I would love to get the other signature on this photo and meet Michael J. Fox one day. It's on the bucket list of actors who I would actually probably go back to waiting in lines to getting a signature for. Okay, this one is not signed. Okay, so we have another Australian actor. Obviously, the gentleman from it is, I think, the Princess Trade or something. Not 100% sure. Just really got the signature because he was an Aussie. And then another person everyone knows, Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid. I was lucky enough to meet him in 2017 and get this sign. We sat there talking with him for about 10-15 minutes, and one of the last questions I had for him was, is there anything coming up? And he goes, oh, I'm working on something that ties back in with something that I've done before, but I can't really talk about it. But it's something different and something telling a different story. And then about, I'd say, a month or 2 months later, we hear rumors that Cobra Kai was coming out. Oh, well, not coming out, but was getting worked on. And that was what he was telling us about. And an actress from my childhood, one of my favorite Christmas movies, Miracle on 34th Street, and Mara Wilson. Okay. Jodie Benson from The Voice of the Little Mermaid. We got Roger L. Jackson, if I'm right, gentleman who played Scream. Played Ghostface. Gentleman from Fantastic Beasts and plays the uncle TV show. Can't remember his name at the moment. Billy Zane, the Phantom. Pretty cool photo. Love the fact he did the own little remark on his own signature, which was cool. Next guy was pretty cool to meet, especially since he played a few characters in a few really big movies in the 90s, late 80s, 90s. So we have James Tolkien, who obviously Stinger in Top Gun, plays the principal in Back to the Future. Hey, we have a guest in the background. Hello.
Oh, hi,
Hey, it's still dark outside.
Zarz.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? What are you showing off?
Just some more signatures and stuff from movies and Marvel and stuff.
Okay,
So, yeah, see, I
cool.
got John Rhys Davies
Oh,
from Indiana Jones.
oh my God, yeah.
So he made it sure that everyone knew that was a camel and that was him.
Is that supposed to be a camel? Okay,
Yeah.
yes. And me, hilarious. I love how he signed it too, right over everything.
So he's one of the most funniest people I met. Even just every time he'd be in the middle of signing something, he'd get up and apologize to the line for
Oh,
making him wait to get a signature from him. And
but he
it
would
was just,
chat with everyone though.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
so that's why he's.
but he was just even like his interaction with the line. It made you like he'd joke in the middle of it just to get
Yeah.
everyone to be involved.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
we have Brandon Roth.
Brandon Roth.
So
Wait,
played
what is?
Superman from
Oh,
Scott
okay.
Pilgrim.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
and he plays Superman. He was the Atom in the Arrow series. And then we got
Hellboy.
David Harbour as Hellboy. So
I always
I'm
thought like David Harper had such an unusual face, facial features, but for Hellboy, it just works perfectly.
yeah, I still think Ron Perlman looked better as Hellboy, personally.
That's what I meant. Ron Perlman. That's what I meant.
That
Was that someone else you showed?
was David Harbour.
Okay, yeah, that's not the same. I'm talking
So,
about the Sons of Anarchy guy.
yeah. So we have Elijah Wood as
Okay.
Frodo. This
Nice.
is
And you met him?
yeah.
Cool.
So um, this
Was he
next person
was he
I
really short?
he's not well. Depends if you're tall, maybe, but compared to me, because I'm not really tall, he was probably about the same. I'd say.
Okay. So how tall are you?
Me, I'm 5'4".
You're 5'4"?
Yeah,
Well, you're taller than I am.
yeah, that doesn't count for much. I'm shorter than most people. So, uh, this next person is someone that I probably never really ever thought I'd get the opportunity to meet, but Chuck Norris.
Oh my god. Good for
So,
you.
yeah, played a big part in my childhood, like movies and the Walker series and stuff. But it obviously he didn't have any photos from any of the older stuff, so I had to get something from Expendables. Uh, Next up, we have Anson Moot.
Dang. Who
So,
who the hell is that and what is he from?
so he played Black Bolt in the Marvels, in the Inhumans, and he was in the Doctor Strange movie, the
Oh,
last
I
one.
didn't see that. Okay.
But this is him. He plays one of the captains in the new Star Trek series,
Yes.
but I'm not sure who he is. But I wanted to meet him, but he didn't have anything Black Bolt, so
Mhm.
obviously I had to get this.
That's awesome.
And then we have
Who's that?
so that's the American Pie cast,
Oh, that's awesome.
and I met him. Like, I think it's Ian Nichols.
The girl with the flute?
No, the one beside you, the
Okay.
guy. So Yeah. I thought I'd get a group shot thinking I might eventually meet the rest and just never had the opportunity to meet any of the others.
Yeah. Zarz, I have a quick meeting I have to attend. I have to talk to someone real quick, but I'll be back if you're still here. Okay.
No problems at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Okay. So now we're going to get into the Marvel section. So, David Harbour, it's the Red Guardian. Obviously, can never go wrong with a Red Guardian. We'll have to get his limo protection service one day. Take us to Supernova. So we have Carl Urban as Scourge from the Thor series. What her name? So we have I think everyone will know this lady from the Disney cartoon Milan, and she was Agent May in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Ming Na Wen. So lucky enough to get that, and I was able to also get a Milan print signed from her, which was pretty cool. We have another Aussie from Neighbours, and he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. But let's see, because I really can't remember his name. Luke Mitchell. And then we have Natalie Dormer again. She was only in the Captain America movie for like a minute, but we got her signed from obviously Marvel series. And then we have let's see. We have Bobby Iceman from the X-Men series. And it's Ashmore. So it's either Shaun. I'm pretty sure it's Shaun Ashmore. Him and his brother always confuse me, especially considering that they look very much alike and not alike at the same time. Yes, I was right. Shaun Ashmore is Bobby from the X-Men series. And then we have gentleman who played Colossus. IMDb is not being very friendly with the X-Men cast, considering that he plays a pretty decent part in the series. His name's not coming up. Daniel Cudmore. And then you have group shot with Shaun and Daniel so far. Hopefully I get to meet the other two eventually. And then we have the gentleman who took over as Red Skull in the Infinity, not Infinity, in the Marvel movies. James Masters again from the TV show. Ray Park as the Toad from the original X-Men. James Masters from the Runaways. Patrick Stewart as Professor X from the original X-Men movies. It'd be awesome to finally get an Ian McKellen signature Magneto to go along with this. So, Yukio from X-Men Wolverine Origins. Okay. So, a movie that I probably really shouldn't have been watching as a kid at the time I watched it, but we got Dolph Lundgren as the first Punisher without the skull. Next up, some people say possibly the worst Marvel movie ever. I don't know if I agree totally, but we have Tim Rose, who was part of Howard the Duck team that brought him to life. Okay. So, Nobu from the new Daredevil series, the Netflix Daredevil series. Hey, Bugsy. Thanks very much, buddy. So we have all good. I might still be on, Vogsy. If I am, you know you're more than welcome to jump on if you want. We have Malcolm from the Jessica Jones series. And then we have Australian actress again from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Getting close to the end of my Marvel signatures, which is probably the biggest one. Adriana Palicki again as Bobby from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we have Michael Rosenbaum from Guardians of the Galaxy. Plays one of the original Maracheks from the original Guardians. We have Michael Rooker as Yondu. So everyone was waiting in line for him at the show, and his signing was meant to be, I think, at like 12 o'clock. It got to 12 o'clock, he wasn't there. It got to 1 o'clock, he wasn't there. He ended up showing up at about 1:30, and he said that there was traffic for the car to get there to pick him up. So he decided to walk and just made his way to the convention center walking because he figured it would be quicker than waiting for the car. And I think he ended up getting lost. And by the time he got to the show, it was 2-3 hours later. But he was very, very gracious and just went around apologizing to everyone and chatting to everyone for not getting there on time and early enough, which was pretty cool. So I know this actor is big actor, Shades from the Daredevil series and Sons of Anarchy. What's his name? No, I'm not gonna find his name. Okay. Then we have another Guardians of the Galaxy with Tom. Signing the poster. And then we have Famke Jensen. Obviously Jean Grey from the original X-Men series. We have the New Zealander and very up-and-coming talent for a young actor. We have Fire Fist from the Deadpool 2 movie, Julian Dennison. And then we also have Stefan Kapich, who was Colossus in the Deadpool movies and series. Well, movies in the Deadpool movies. Yeah. We have another Guardians of the Galaxy with Shaun Gunn, who also plays Kraglin and does the motion capture for Rocket. Weasel in the Suicide Squad 2 movie. Brad Davis from the Spider-Man series. Yeah, and the lucky last. I don't have a signature on the photo, obviously, because I got some books signed, but we have a photo with Stan Lee back from 2017 when I was lucky enough to meet him. So I think the second last time he was in Australia. I think he was lucky enough to make it down one more time before he passed away. But I made the 7-hour drive down to Adelaide to be able to meet him, just because I had missed him a few times beforehand. So when I found out he was going to be in Australia, in Adelaide, I took my opportunity to go and meet him, and it was a great opportunity. He was especially for a man of his age, he was very, very witty, and just when he's telling his stories and people asking him questions, and just his whole demeanor and the way he knew exactly what he wanted to say and what he was saying, even for the age he was. It was awesome. I know they were a little bit forcing him to sign, even though he would love to and wants to sign things for people, but you could see that his age had caught up with him when we had met him. But it was great to have the opportunity to have been able to meet Stan Lee before he died. So, which was really cool. That is all my standard 8 by 12, I'm going to say, or 7 by 10 photos of the stars that I've met. I've obviously, over time, gotten a few other things signed that I might do later on in another show. I have some posters and some original artwork from some artists that I had signed by the actors who portrayed the people in their artwork. And then obviously I've got artwork from current and past creators on Marvel and DC comics. And then I have as well just some local talent art, which I might do a art series slowly on, but I will be a lot more prepared when I do those series with the actual details of the artist and all that stuff, instead of all over the place with signatures. And who some of them they are and who some aren't. Fogsy, when is your mainstream? Which day, what time? And I'll try my best to make sure, even if it's at a weird time, to jump on. Okay. Are you meaning for today, as in the next few hours, or are you meaning for another time? Because obviously it's hard being up at crazy times during the week, but if it falls on my weekend, buddy, just shoot me a IG message letting me know when you're jumping on, and if I'm around and free, I will jump on, no problems. And I'll try and bring some cool books to show you. So I'm pretty sure I'm getting some new stuff soon that I'm sure you'll like. So, alrighty, let's see. Going through all that. I don't have any more signatures to show, but we will hang around for a little bit in case Madam is nearly done with her meeting, and if not, I will call it at the hour mark or so, and we'll see how we go. So I have shown these before, but I think once it gets my cabinets a bit upgraded and that, and I have some more room, I'm going to try and find out how I'm going to be able to display some retro goodness. So just to look like, I know these figures will probably not be the most detailed things in the world if I pull them out of the box, but just the whole design in the box is pretty cool. And being obviously the giant X-Men tribute, missing a few characters, but you got all the main guys with Colossus, Thunderbird, Storm, Banshee, Sunfire, Nightcrawler. Very, very tempted to pull these things out and just have a closer look at them. Wouldn't be surprised if someone already has, considering that how old this box is. But we might leave that for a stream on another day. Giant size X-Men. And so I've got this as well sitting there, which I really need to get opened and put together so I can have him set up with Mr. Optimus Prime. Show him off. Hopefully it's not as long as a build as Optimus Prime was. because that took a fair while. Okay, we've hit the hour mark. I've gone through all my signatures, so I'm gonna call it a day or an evening. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to everyone who catches the replay. Obviously, do the YouTube stuff. Click the like and subscribe. And thank you.